ghost ship goes to Britain.
The Roman Empire was back. Emperor Justinian had reconquered the West. It was supposed to be a new golden age.
Five years earlier, a volcanic winter had blocked the sun for 18 months.
Famine had weakened everyone's immune systems. Humanity was vulnerable. And then, the ships arrived.
The bacteria attacked the lymph nodes, creating massive swellings called buboes, hence the bubonic plague. 10,000 people died every day. There was no room to bury them. The emperor himself fell ill. Trade routes became death highways. The plague ships sailed north, reaching the shores of Britain.
It entered through Tintagel. The British elites wanted Roman wine and oil. They got the Roman plague instead.
In Britain, they gave it a different name, the Yellow Plague, because it turned victims the color of old parchment.
Before the physical pain, there was madness. Victims reported seeing.
It was terrifyingly fast. You could wake up healthy, have a fever by noon, and be dead by sunset. The plague hunted civilization. It thrived in towns and trading posts, the centers of British power.
From the coast, it traveled up the rivers. No village was safe.
Monasteries, where people lived close together, became death traps. The chronicles stopped because the scribes died.
There were no funerals, no last rites.
Ghost towns appeared across England. Entire bloodlines were extinguished in a week.
With no one to harvest the crops, famine returned. Those who survived the plague starved in the winter. Gold became worthless. You couldn't buy bread if there was no one left to bake it.
But the Anglo-Saxons were different. They lived in small, isolated wooden villages. They didn't trade with Rome.
Their isolation saved them. The plague decimated the Britons in the cities, but spared the Saxons in the woods.
This changed history. The plague cleared the way for the Anglo-Saxon conquest of England. The legend of King Maelgwn. He locked himself in a church to escape the yellow beast.
The forests returned. For 200 years, nature reclaimed.
It wasn't just people. Knowledge died. The skills of stone building, heating, and writing vanished.
Emperor Justinian survived, but his dream didn't. His army was too weak to hold the empire together.
The plague coincided with the late antique Little Ice Age. The world got colder, darker, and deadlier.
It wasn't a one-time event. The plague returned every generation for 200 years, keeping the population crushed.
The social order collapsed. With no peasants to work the fields, lords had to push their own plows. Ironically, the labor shortage improved life for survivors. Workers became rare and valuable.
People believed it was the apocalypse. Faith in the old gods shattered. Christianity offered the only hope of an afterlife.
Londinium became a ghost city. It would lie abandoned for centuries. It took Europe 1,000 years to recover its population levels. The progress of humanity hit a wall.
For centuries, this plague was a myth.
Until we looked at the teeth of the dead.
DNA analysis confirmed it. The same bacteria that caused the Black Death in 1348 was here 800 years earlier.
It wasn't just Europe. Evidence shows it reached China and Persia. It was the first true pandemic. The bacteria eventually went dormant, hiding in rodent populations, waiting to strike again in the 14th century.
Yet, humanity survived. The survivors built a new world from the ashes of Rome.
From the chaos emerged the kingdoms of England. The plague had cleared the board for a new game.
Art changed. Culture changed. The Roman realism was lost, replaced by the abstract patterns of the North. Latin faded away. The language of the Germanic tribes took root. English was born. A reminder that civilizations are fragile, and nature is the ultimate conqueror. And the Hagia Sophia still stands, the last witness to the glory and the horror of Justinian's reign.
We are the descendants of those who survived against all odds.
541 AD. The year the world changed forever.
Subscribe for more history from the dark side.